Okay, so today we are going to cover greatest common factor, and that is the method for factoring our polynomials. So on the first page of your brochure, it should be your title with the 5 various methods, and then when you open it up on page 1 will be the greatest common factor. So first, what is factoring? It is a process of separating a polynomial back into a product. If it cannot be factored, then it is prime. Okay, so there are some steps that I want you, and maybe you'll put them in your own words, but first you're going to find a number and or a variable that can go into both terms in a polynomial. And it could be 3 terms or 4 terms. So something that they all have in common. And that's going to be your greatest common factor. So we can, whatever can be pulled out of, which is the greatest common factor, it goes in front of parentheses. And whatever can't stays inside as the remainder. So let's see that in action. If you think of the numbers 3 and 12, what are their factors? Well, for 3, it's 1 and 3. And for 12, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. So of those numbers, which is the greatest factor the two share? And if you said 3, your answer would be correct. So the 3 is the greatest common factor, aka the number that they both share. And so you write that outside of the parentheses. And then what you're essentially doing is dividing 3x plus 12 by 3. And you're going to get x plus 4, which is your remainder. This is how you would write your answer. And if you go to check it, you will redistribute the 3 to the x and to the 4. And you will see that your answer is what we started out with, which is 3x plus 12. Okay, here's another example. 4y squared minus 24y. Of numbers 4 and 24, their factors, their greatest factor in common is a 4. And then if we look at y squared and y, the greatest amount of y's is 1. They both can take a 1y away. So that is your GCF for y. So we're going to divide 4y squared minus 24y by 4y, and we're going to get y minus 6. So that's your remainder, and the 4y is your greatest common factor. And again, to check, we're going to redistribute it and see that we end up with what we started with. One more important thing, or another way to show it, is if we have y squared minus y, what's the smallest degree in this polynomial? Well, it would be a 1, and so that means that each y shares a y. And could I take out a y squared? No, because this y only has a degree of 1, not a degree of 2. So we look at the lowest degree that they all have in common, and that's how we take it out. Okay, the next one that I want you to try to solve is going to be 16bc squared plus 24bc. And I want you to solve that one, and then 35a squared minus 20ab squared plus 15a. So you're going to factor both of those. And you'll see my answers, but I would like for you to try them on your own. And then, real quick, a few tips that I want you to have. So, first, we are going to look at the coefficient and find what the greatest common factor is for those 2 numbers, or 3 numbers, what they all share in common. Then we're going to look at the variable that the variable must be common to all terms to be a greatest common factor. If a variable is common to all terms, we're going to take the one with the smallest exponent. And then in simple terms, we're going to divide by our greatest common factor, and the remainder is put in parentheses. So this is what you should have on your brochure when you come to class the following period.